close your eyes for a moment and consider this. You've been creating mental pictures over and over again. You've sat in silence, focus on the vision of your future self, and try to feel the emotions of living that reality. Perhaps you've even caught glimpses of it, a fleeting moment, a small change, a minor validation. And yet, after the glow fades, you find yourself back in the same familiar cycle, the same environment, the same circumstances, the same patterns repeating. If you have ever wondered why your inner visions feel so powerful, yet so often fail to materialize, there is a truth waiting to be uncovered. It is not because your dreams lack detail. It is not because your mind cannot imagine them vividly enough. It is because mental imagery alone does not create reality. What creates reality, what shapes matter itself, is your frequency. There exists a fundamental distinction between dreaming about tomorrow and transmitting an energy that aligns with that tomorrow, between picturing desires and becoming the person who already lives them. Visualization, powerful as it is only one fragment of a far greater puzzle. The missing piece, the secret hidden in plain sight, is vibrational state. Your vibrational state is the tuning fork of your existence. It is the invisible song your body and soul are humming every moment of every day. When that song resonates with the reality you seek, the field reflects it back without hesitation. When it does not, your vision remains at a distance no matter how much you desire it. Many people have been told to ask, to believe, to trust, and to receive. But the quantum field does not respond to please. It responds to alignment, to authenticity, to the signal you embody at your most essential level, not the energy you project during a meditation ritual, not the hopeful vibration you sustain for a few minutes before sleep, but the frequency woven through your breathing, your decisions, your emotional patterns. The cosmos is not listening to your words. It is reading your being. And when you understand this, when you recognize the subtlety of this transformation, everything begins to shift, not because you forced it, not because you thought more positive thoughts, but because you finally stopped chasing, stopped pleading, stopped affirming that what you desire is far away. You began treating it as an energetic state you could inhabit right now, in this breath, in this moment. This frequency is not a vague concept. It is not an abstract philosophy. It is tangible. It can be felt in the body. It carries qualities: unwavering confidence, steady flow, quiet assurance. It does not hurry. It does not yearn. It does not question when. It simply exists, steady and serene. Because when you operate as the person who has already manifested their desires, the quantum field has no choice but to respond. It mirrors back the coherence of your being. And yet, the question arises, why is this transformation so challenging? Why can you picture something beautiful and still struggle to embody the feeling that it is already yours? The answer lies in conditioning. For a lifetime, you've been trained to delay, to prepare, to wait until you are worthy, to work harder, to chase. Your nervous system has been rehearsing the vibration of someday. So when you are invited, perhaps the first time, to embody a dream as if it were already real, your body rebels. It feels awkward. It feels like self-deception. But this awkwardness is not a sign of falseness. It is a sign that your nervous system is encountering something new. What feels foreign to body is not foreign to the essence. It is merely an energy your spirit has always known. But your physical system must now learn to hold. You are not chasing destiny. You are remembering it. The question then becomes, how do you maintain this frequency when your external world has yet to shift? How do you stay anchored in already when your environment screams not yet? The answer is deceptively simple. You initiate. You decide that energy leads and proof follows. You redirect your focus from absence to presence, from desire to identity. When practiced consistently, this decision forms a new energy, one that does not collapse under stress, one that does not vanish in chaos, one that becomes your new normal. And when this frequency stabilizes, the field begins reorganizing around you, not because you demanded it, but because you harmonize with it. This is coherence, the alignment of thought, emotion, and behavior. When these three become one, the field must reflect that unity. That is its law. But Coherence requires more than inspiration. It requires identity. Because the field does not respond to wanting. It responds to knowing. If you envision wealth but operate with anxiety, your field registers anxiety. If you imagine love but avoid closeness, your field reads withdrawal. If you picture freedom but speak constantly of limitation, your field accepts limitation as your reality. The disconnect between vision and embodiment explains why so many seekers experience disappointment. They meditate, they journal, they script, they visualize. Yet their inner frequency whispers fear, lack, inadequacy. The mind asks for abundance, but the body transmits scarcity. The result is interference, and the field simply mirrors confusion. This is why the work of manifestation cannot be reduced to thought alone. It is a full body, full being practice. The transformation occurs when thoughts, emotions, and behaviors tell the same story. When your nervous system is no longer conditioned by history, but attuned to possibility. This is the journey into coherence. And coherence is what makes your signal undeniable. When you begin to see coherence not as an abstract ideal, but as a living state, the entire perspective shifts. It is no longer about controlling circumstances. It is about becoming the signal that circumstances cannot ignore. You stop asking when and how life will change, and instead you breathe into the knowing that it already has. This shift is subtle, and because it is subtle, it can be overlooked. Most people expect fireworks, instant confirmations, dramatic signs that they have succeeded. But reality in a quantum realm rarely announces itself with spectacle. It whispers, it nudges, it rearranges quietly, until one day you look around and notice that everything feels different, that life no longer tastes like waiting. Yet there's a truth that cannot be denied. Your body resists new frequencies. For years, even decades, it has been a vessel for scarcity, worry, striving, self-doubt. Your biology is comfortable with limitation. It is familiar with struggle. It knows how to carry the weight of not enough. So when you ask it to hold a new vibration, abundance, freedom, love, it resists, it contracts, it doubts. This resistance is not evidence of failure. It is evidence of recalibration. Think of tuning a radio. Between stations there is static, the sound of two signals interfering. That static is not proof that the station does not exist. It is proof you are finding it. Your manifestation journey functions the same way. The static of doubt, of fear, of old thought patterns resurfacing is not a sign to give up. It is a sign you are close. It is proof you are tuning. And in those moments, you are offered a choice. You can return to the old frequency, reinforcing what is familiar, or you can anchor into the new one, even if it feels unstable. This is frequency anchoring. Every time you catch yourself slipping into scarcity, you redirect gently. You ask, what would the version of me who already lives this reality think right now? How would they feel? How would they act in this moment? And then, for just the next breath, for just the next 5 minutes, you choose that. These micro redirections build momentum. Each one is a stone dropped into the pond of your energy field, creating ripples far beyond your awareness. Neuroscience affirms what mystics have always known. The brain rewires itself according to repetition. Each time you choose coherence, you carve new neural pathways. Each time you embody your future self, you are teaching your biology to accept a new truth. And slowly, the old frequency loses its grip. But the shift is not only neurological, it is electromagnetic. Your heart, the very core of your being, generates an electromagnetic field more powerful than the brain by magnitudes. When your thoughts and emotions synchronize, when a heart and mind begin to operate as one, your field expands in strength and clarity. Researchers have measured this coherence, detecting its resonance several feet beyond the body. In that state, you are no longer whispering your desires into the void. You are broadcasting them as a coherent emitter. The field responds to clarity. It mirrors consistency. And when you broadcast in a union of thought and feeling from the harmony of heart and mind, your reality has no option but to bend in response. This is not philosophy. This is physics. The universe is not choosing favorites. It is responding to resonance. And then something extraordinary begins to happen. Synchronicities emerge. Conversations unfold as if scripted. Numbers appear repeatedly: 111, 222, 333, and sometimes, most powerfully, 777. You are not searching for signs, yet they find you. They appear on clocks, receipts, screens, moments when you least expect them. At first, you might dismiss them as chance, but part of you knows better. The sensitive part, the tuned part, the number 777 especially holds significance. It is not an announcement that your desire is approaching. It is a confirmation that you have aligned deeply enough with the quantum field to communicate back. It is not a prize. It is an echo, a harmonic mirror of your coherence. In mystical teachings, 7 is a number of wisdom, of divine knowing, of spiritual mastery. Repeated 3 times, it becomes not a symbol but an energetic signature. You have stabilized enough of your reality to crystallize. Do not mistake its presence as permission to relax into passivity. This is a convergence point. This is the delicate threshold where possibility collapses into form. When 777 appears, your responsibility is not to celebrate prematurely, but to hold your frequency more steadily than ever, to anchor deeply, to trust the shift without loosening your alignment, because what follows is often chaos. Old patterns rise with intensity before dissolving. Challenges appear not as punishment but as reorganization. Imagine renovating a house while still living inside. Dust, noise, disruption, yet all of it in service of transformation. So it is with manifestation. The old frequency must dismantle for the new one to stabilize. The turbulence is not a test. It is evidence of restructuring. And if you hold steady through the storm, if you maintain coherence through the static, the shift completes. The wave collapses. The reality crystallizes. Not suddenly, but inevitably. This is why embodying as if it is misunderstood. Many believe it is about pretending, about putting on a mask and tricking the universe. But embodying as if is not deception. It is frequency conditioning. It is training your body to live the signal of your desired reality before external confirmation arrives. You are not waiting for evidence. You are creating it. You are not seeking proof. You are becoming it. And here lies the subtle art. You do not need to revolutionize your entire existence overnight. Transformation happens in how you walk into a room, in how you speak about yourself, in how you carry your body when no one is watching, in whether you accept praise or deflect it, in whether you diminish your light to fit or allow yourself to shine without apology. Each micro-choice communicates to the field who you are. So ask yourself, if I were already living my highest reality, how would I begin tomorrow? How would I breathe? How would I move? How would I speak? These are not empty questions. They are tuning forks. They are choices that ripple across the field. The body resists, yes. The nervous system pulls you back, yes. But resistance is not the enemy. It is the static between stations. And static means you are tuning. So when doubt arises, do not collapse into despair. Redirect, anchor, repeat. This is the practice. This is coherence. And in time, the body remembers. The nervous system adapts. The old identity loses its claim. You stop visiting your future self and start living as them. The shift is no longer a goal. It is your normal. And in that normal, serenity emerges. Not excitement, not urgency, but serenity. Because the chase has ended. Because you finally recognize you are not waiting for quantum shift. You are the quantum shift. Serenity is not the absence of desire. It is the absence of resistance. It is a still point where you no longer grip reality by its edges, demanding it conform. Instead, you open your palms and allow it to meet you. This state is not passive, though it may look like calm to the outside world. It is one of the most powerful vibrational states you can embody. For within serenity lies coherence, and within coherence lies creation. When serenity settles into your being, the mind slows. The endless need to calculate, compare, and anticipate begins to dissolve. In its place emerges a quiet trust. A trust not in timelines or predictions, but in alignment. You feel safe even when circumstances are uncertain. You feel whole even when evidence is partial. You breathe without urgency. And in that breathing, in that stillness, your field becomes magnetic. Neuroscientists call this bridge between serenity and creation the alpha-theta state. In this range of brain waves, typically between 7 and 14 hertz, your conscious and subconscious begin to harmonize. The chatter of the thinking mind softens. The subconscious, which carries your deepest patterns, opens to new instructions. This is why meditation, deep relaxation, or even moments of flow are so transformative. They allow your system to enter frequency where change is not forced, but absorbed. In this state, your nervous system is receptive. Your heart and brain achieve coherence. And your electromagnetic field, already vast, becomes a beacon. You are no longer just visualizing. You are transmitting. You are no longer asking. You are declaring through your frequency. The paradox is that the state cannot be chased. The more you try to grasp it, the further it slips. Serenity is born from release, from letting go of the desperate need to control how, when, or in what form your reality must arrive. It is like planting a seed in fertile soil. You water it, you tend the ground, but you do not dig up every day to check its progress. You trust the process of growth. Manifestation follows the same principle. You plant the energetic seed through thought and emotion. You water it with coherence of action and identity. And then you allow. The allowing is what most forget. They cling, they doubt, they rush. And in doing so, they broadcast lack. But when you allow, when you hold your desire lightly, like a bird resting in your hand, you maintain the frequency of already. And the more you return to the state, the more your nervous system learns safety and abundance. Safety in freedom, safety in fulfillment, not as a fleeting peak, but as a foundation. This is when the external world no longer dictates your inner state. You are coherent whether life is smooth or chaotic. You are serene whether outcomes have arrived or are still forming. And in this stability, the quantum field reflects stability back. This is the heart of quantum manifestation. You are not controlling matter with thought. You are aligning your energy so precisely that matter has no option but to rearrange. The field does not reward effort. It mirrors coherence. But as with all transformation, the old identity does not fade quietly. It speaks. It whispers doubts. It tells you that you are unprepared, that you need more proof, that you should wait until conditions improve. It tempts you back into history, because history feels safe to the body, familiar, even if it is painful. Each time this voice arises, you stand at a choice point. Do you replay the old story, or do you hold the new one for just one more breath? This is identity work at its deepest level. Identity is not merely a set of thoughts about yourself. It is an energetic structure that governs your biology, your nervous system, your hormones, your immune system. Every layer of your body organizes itself around the identity you carry. When you have embodied limitation for years, your entire physiology supports that signal. So when you step into a new identity, your body initially rebels. It feels foreign. It feels unsafe. This is not regression. This is evidence of growth. Psychologists call it upper limit problems. The discomfort that arises when success or joy exceeds your historical set point. It feels wrong, not because it is wrong, but because it is unfamiliar. And the only way through is to allow the discomfort and continue. To normalize the frequency of expansion until your body accepts it as home. One way to ease this process is through what can be called identity bridging. Instead of leaping immediately from one extreme to another, you create stepping stone identities. If you are steeped in financial struggle, you do not attempt to leap instantly into the identity of wealth. You first embody the identity of one learning to receive, of one becoming financially conscious, of one opening to abundance. Each bridge identity carries its own frequency, slightly higher, slightly freer. And by inhabiting them progressively, your nervous system adjusts gradually. The transformation becomes sustainable. This mirrors the mechanics of quantum physics. Particles do not travel from one energy state to another in a straight line. They leap, but not instantly. They pass through intermediate states, virtual states, that exist only for a moment. Your consciousness works the same way. Each bridge identity is a temporary state that allows you to leap from limitation to freedom. Without it, The gap feels too wide and self-sabotage ensues. And so, step by step, the new frequency becomes familiar. What once felt like pretending now feels natural. What once felt like forcing now feels like remembering. You stop seeking confirmation outside yourself. You stop performing worthiness. You start embodying it. This embodiment does not require perfection. It requires persistence. It requires returning again and again to coherence until coherence becomes second nature. The universe does not demand flawlessness. It reflects consistency. And when consistency stabilizes, a new phenomenon emerges. The craving ends. The grasping dissolves. What remains is quiet serenity. And this serenity is a true accelerator of manifestation. Because in serenity, you are not signaling lack. You are not signaling distance. You are broadcasting completion. You are no longer waiting for reality to catch up. You are reality. This state is not fragile. It is not easily shaken by external noise. Once stabilized, it moves through daily life effortlessly. You make choices without endless analysis. You interact with others without defensiveness. You rest without guilt. You move with quiet authority, not as performance, but as a natural expression of coherence. And this, more than any affirmation or visualization, is what transforms your field. For the field does not listen to your words. It listens to your energy. And your energy, when coherent, when serene, when consistent, becomes undeniable. It becomes magnetic. It becomes a song to which matter dances. When coherence deepens, you notice life responding in ways that feel almost too subtle to count. A conversation flows without friction, as though both voices are carried by the same current. An opportunity appears not because you chased it, but because it wandered naturally into your orbit. A moment of peace emerges in the middle of chaos, unexplainable yet undeniable. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that your frequency has stabilized enough to bend reality around you. This is the essence of resonance. In music, when one tuning fork vibrates, another nearby begins to vibrate at the same frequency. The second fork was not struck, but it moves simply because it is near. So it is with the quantum field. When you emit a consistent vibration of abundance, love, or peace, the surrounding field begins to echo it. You do not force matter. You resonate with it. Yet this resonance reveals something more profound. The signals you transmit are not isolated. They ripple outward into the collective field, touching people, places, and possibilities you cannot yet see. This is why your frequency matters beyond your personal desires. Every coherent state you embody becomes part of the larger harmony of existence. The universe is not indifferent to your coherence. It is shaped by it. And so the question arises, how do you sustain this coherence when the old world tugs at you, when familiar struggles reappear, when history whispers that nothing has changed? The answer is practice. Not the kind of practice that strains, but the kind that anchors. Small, consistent acts that align you with your chosen identity. Each morning, you might breathe as though you are already fulfilled. Each evening, you might reflect not on what is missing, but on what is present. In moments of challenge, you might pause and ask, how would a version of me who already lives this reality respond now? These practices are not rituals to please the universe. They are tools to stabilize your frequency until the old resonance loses its authority. For a time, you will feel two selves within you, the self conditioned by history and the self called forth by vision. One is familiar, but heavy. The other is lighter, but new. And the body, ever loyal to the known, will attempt to pull you back to the old. This tug of war is not a failure. It is the process itself. Think again of quantum mechanics. Between two energy states lies a threshold, a barrier that appears insurmountable in classical physics. And yet, particles cross it through a phenomenon called tunneling. They pass not by force, but by alignment with probability. Your transformation mirrors this. When you feel caught between identities, between the old frequency and the new, remember that the leap occurs not through effort, but through persistence. By holding the frequency long enough, by embodying it consistently enough, you pass through the barrier. This is consciousness tunneling. And sometimes at the threshold of this tunneling, signs appear. Numbers repeat. synchronicities multiply. A symbol like 777 arrives, not as prediction, but as validation. It tells you, the field has registered your signal. You are no longer wandering between stations. You are tuning into one. The appearance of such signs is not the finish line. It is a convergence point. It is the wave preparing to collapse into matter. The mistake many make is to relax here, to assume the work is done. But this is the moment of greatest importance. The soil has been prepared. The seed has sprouted beneath the surface. And now you must continue tending. To abandon the process is to withhold light from a plant just as it reaches for sky. So when 777 or other synchronistic signs appear, let them not lull you into passivity, but inspire you into deeper coherence. Anchor more fully, choose more deliberately, live more presently, because the field is not telling you what is coming. It is showing you what you already are. And what you are becoming is not a seeker of manifestations, but a living frequency, a transmitter of coherence, a presence so aligned that the field cannot help but echo you. This is why embodying as if it's so powerful, and also why it is so misunderstood. It is not an act of play acting, not a costume you wear in hopes that reality will be fooled. It is not about convincing the universe, because the universe cannot be tricked. It is about convincing your nervous system. It is about conditioning your body to accept the frequency of your true self until it no longer feels like pretending. At first, this feels awkward. To move, to speak, to carry yourself as though the reality were already here. Your body resists, saying, but this is not who we are yet. And yet with repetition, the awkwardness fades. Pretending becomes practicing. Practicing becomes embodying. Embodying becomes being. This is a path from vision to reality. Repetition of coherence until coherence becomes your natural state. And when coherence becomes natural, the field does not hesitate. It reflects you, not as reward, but as resonance, not as miracle, but as physics. So each day becomes an opportunity, not to wait, not to chase, but to embody, to walk as though the ground beneath your feet already belongs to your highest self, to speak as though your words emerge from certainty, not hope, to breathe as though every inhale affirms sufficiency, every exhale releases doubt, and slowly, the gap between vision and reality dissolves. You stop waiting for life to change. You stop yearning for confirmation. You realize you have become confirmation itself. You are not asking the field to shift. You are the shift. Every signal you transmit is both personal and universal. It carries the weight of your own identity, but it also contributes to the larger song of reality itself. The frequency you stabilize is never only about you. It ripples outward, touching everything within reach of your field. This is why alignment is never selfish. When you embody coherence, you elevate the resonance around you. Consider the energy of a single individual who walks into a room fully present, fully at ease, radiating quiet certainty. Without saying a word, their presence shifts the atmosphere. Conversations feel calmer. Tension dissolves. Others breathe more easily without knowing why. This is not charisma, nor manipulation. It is coherence. It is the body and heart and mind moving as one, broadcasting a signal that cannot be ignored. And if this can occur within a room, imagine its reach within the quantum field. Imagine the influence of a steady signal on a reality that is always listening. When you walk as though your life is already complete, the field does not debate with you. It mirrors you. Yet here's a challenge. The old self still lingers. Its voice is subtle but persistent. It tells you to wait for proof. It warns you against disappointment. It reminds you of failures, of times when you reached and nothing happened. It tempts you to lower your frequency back into what is familiar. This is the moment most turn away, mistaking discomfort for failure. But discomfort is evidence of evolution. Your nervous system is stretching like a muscle and used a new movement. Growth is always uncomfortable at first, not because it is wrong, but because it is different. If you can learn to rest in that difference, to breathe into it instead of fleeing from it, you teach your body to hold a higher frequency. And once the body adapts, the new identity becomes natural. This is the art of frequency anchoring, not demanding perfection from yourself, but redirecting gently each time you slip. Each redirection, however small, strengthens the pathway. Neuroscience shows us that neurons fire and wire together through repetition. Each time you choose coherence over contraction, you're literally reshaping your brain. And because your brain and heart generate electromagnetic signals, you are reshaping your field as well. What begins as practice becomes identity. And then, without effort, coherence expresses itself in the details of your life, in the way you speak to strangers, in the choices you make about food, rest, or work, in the calm that stays with you even in traffic, even in stress. You no longer need to think about coherence. You are coherence. But coherence is not the same as perfection. Perfection is rigid, brittle, always fearful of fracture. Coherence is fluid. It allows for imperfection without collapsing. You can feel doubt and still return to certainty. You can experience challenge and still embody serenity. The signal remains steady not because you never wobble, but because you always return. This is a secret so many overlook. Coherence is not about never falling. It is about returning quickly when you do. And so, the field responds. Opportunities align. Relationships soften. Synchronicities multiply. At first they may feel like miracles, but soon you recognize them as natural. You see that reality has never been random. It has always been reflecting your frequency. The only difference now is that you are consistent enough to see the pattern. In this recognition, urgency dissolves. You no longer ask, when will it arrive? Because you realize it already has. You no longer plead for confirmation, because life itself becomes confirmation. Every breath, every interaction, every subtle sign reflects your state. And you no longer doubt, because you are no longer waiting. You are living. This is the embodiment of as if, not acting, not pretending, but conditioning your being until your nervous system cannot distinguish between vision and reality, until the line between becoming and being disappears, until coherence is not something you practice, but something you are. And once coherence stabilizes, serenity deepens. Serenity is the quiet recognition that nothing is missing, that you do not need to reach or chase, because what you sought is already woven into your frequency. Serenity is not passive. It is the strongest stance you can hold. It is the state that allows the quantum field to crystallize around you without interference. From this serenity, choices flow differently. You no longer act from desperation or fear. You act from knowing. Each step carries a weight of certainty, and certainty is magnetic. This magnetism does not force reality. It invites it. It does not shout, it sings. And reality, ever responsive, sings back. You may notice at this stage that the external world begins to look more like a mirror than a mystery. People reflect your inner state with uncanny accuracy. Circumstances unfold as if in rhythm with your emotions. What once felt like coincidence now feels inevitable, not because life has changed its rules, but because you're finally playing in harmony with them. This is the point where manifestation ceases to feel like effort and begins to feel like breathing. Natural, unforced, continuous. And yet, even here, the old identity may whisper. It may question whether this is sustainable. It may fear the loss of new stability. This is where trust must deepen. Not blind trust in chance, but trust in resonance. Trust in the physics of coherence. Trust in the truth that the field cannot reflect anything other than what you consistently broadcast. So when fear arises, breathe, anchor, return. This is the practice. This is the path. This is the frequency you were meant to live in.